What's going on YouTube? Smashing Pumpkin here, coming at you guys with another edition of Fun Deck Friday. Today I'm going to be tackling the question that's on no one's mind in particular, which is what exactly do trap monsters do? And then I'm going to be talking about two commons from Crossed Souls that I think are really cool, and they add to a strategy of trap monsters which have been irrelevant largely for the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! Kind of similar to spirits in some respects. In other respects, they're a little bit worse. But that's neither here nor there. We're going to be talking about the two new trap monsters that came in Crossed Souls, and we're going to be talking about a couple of important rulings with trap monsters, and then we're going to dive into the deck profile. The first monster that we're going to be talking about is Earthen Spider Statue. It is a continuous trap, and it states special summon this card as an effect monster, and it becomes a rock type earth level 7 with 0 attack and 2500 defense. So while it's an effect monster and you control another trap monster that is a monster, this card cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects, which is really good. It has kind of a Leo sort of thing going on. Really cool ability is while it's an effect monster, if a card is special summoned from your spell or trap card zone as a monster, except during the damage step, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. That's pretty sick. I'm pretty much a fan of this card. It's kind of the reason why I made the entire deck. However, the next monster that we're going to be talking about is also pretty cool. It's probably going to be played in the deck, and that is Abyssal Stingray. And it's same thing, special summon as an effect type monster. It's a thunder type light level 5 with 1900 attack and 0 defense, and it cannot be destroyed by battle. So it's a little bit more resilient than a lot of the other trap monsters that have been printed. There have been 16 total, but some of them are also absolute trash. It kind of feels a lot like going through the spirit monsters and seeing which of them were playable and which of them weren't, but it's a little bit better here. Let's discuss the very, very basic things that you need to know about trap monsters. So while active, a trap monster is treated as both a monster and a trap card. So that means that while it's active, it can be destroyed by effects that affect monsters or spells and traps, or just like effects that affect spells or traps. So you can destroy trap monsters with either like Raigeki, or you can destroy them with MST. And also importantly, a trap monster uses both a monster card zone and a spell or trap card zone at the same time. Also fun to point out, another really important ruling for trap monsters is they cannot go into face down defense position. If they do get set, they go back to the spell and trap card zone, and they cannot be activated the turn that they're set because they have been recently set on the field. That being said, there are some important things that you should know about the trap monsters, such as if you have them, a couple of them out on the board, you can't set more back row behind them. That's a big no-no. It can be reset as a spell or trap. You can use that to dodge effects that destroy monsters. So if your opponent Raigekis, you can chain like Book of Moon, set your monster, and it returns back to the spell or trap card zone. Most importantly, however, is with the interaction with Earthen Spider Statue, because you can reset your monsters back to the spell and trap card zone and then reactivate them during your opponent's turn after they've been set for the passive turns, and you get to destroy another card in the field. So you can do some pretty destructive loops with Spider Statue. Now that we know all the properties, well, the very basic properties of the trap monsters, I guess I'll just dive right into the deck profile. It is very trap heavy. This is my third draft with this deck, honestly, so it's not quite perfect, which is fine because it's Fun Deck Friday and we don't really want perfection here. We just want cool things that you can do. Card D, you want to gain as much advantage as quickly as possible, so Card D is your man there. Drawing 2 cards is really important since you're not really using your summon for anything else during your turn. Like, that's fine. You normally want to summon your trap monsters during your opponent's turn so that you can get pops. And then we play 1 Falcon and 1 Tsukiyomi. They kind of do the same thing. Since you can continuously set your trap monsters back to your spell and trap card zone, Tsukiyomi will allow you to keep on reactivating Spider Statue every turn for the cost of your normal summon that you don't use anyway, because all of the monsters that you want to use in your deck are special summons. So that's really cool. So you'll get continuous pops with spider statue setting cards with Tsukiyomi back, and that's really cool. And then Falcon does pretty much the same thing. You can bounce back continuous trap cards back to your hand and then reset them. This is a little bit better than Tsukiyomi sometimes because occasionally you'll have like a really underwhelming trap monster and then you draw into a better one and you want to play that, so you can use Falcon. However, Falcon is susceptible to a lot more removal than Tsukiyomi is because you have to summon it, enter battle phase, and declare an attack. And then we play one Mask of Darkness. This kind of combos a little bit with Tsukiyomi, but it's just to get back the trap cards that are really important to your strategy that might get blown up earlier in the game. Spells, we play 3-power duality. You don't really special summon during your turn. We've kind of established that already, so you can go into things like your Falcons or Tsukiyomis or your Ds, or find some of your traps like Statue, stuff like that. 3 upstarts. There aren't really a whole lot of cards that you really want in your deck, so we play upstart. And we play control, so we don't really care what our opponent's life points are. And then we play 3 magic planners. This is to get rid of dead trap cards. Sometimes you have to activate trap monsters that aren't really that good just so you can pop something. So this will get them out of the way, draw some cards, plus, etc. And then 1 Book of Moon. We play 3 Spider Statue. This card is ridiculous, like I've said. And then we play 2 Stungrant, 2 Tiki Curse, and then 2 Tiki Soul. Soul is probably one of my favorite trap monsters because there is an interaction you can do when your opponent like blind spaces your back row. You chain your Tiki Soul to the MST, and then you chain like your other trap monster that they targeted with MST. So your chain will resolve, so your trap will become a monster, and then Tiki Soul also becomes a monster. And what Tiki Soul says is if another trap card you control that is a monster would be destroyed by your opponent's card and sent to your graveyard, you can set it to your spell and trap card zone instead. So essentially, since they've now become monsters at resolution, the continuous effect of Tiki Soul will take place. So your monster will, instead of going to the graveyard, will just get reset to your back row. But it can't be activated that turn, so that kind of sucks. And then we play 2 Swamp Mirrorer. I don't know how to say it. This card is kind of, I don't know how I feel about this card, but it's really interesting. You can declare an attribute or a monster type and it becomes it, and then it has 1800 attack and it's a normal monster. There are some combos that you can do with Swamp Mirror because you can declare type and attribute. Mainly they'll involve your extra deck and stuff like that, but it is a cool card. 2 Metal Reflex Slime. This card kind of sucks. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This card is probably the card that you Magic Planner like most often. It stalls forever, which is good, because sometimes you can start off really slow. And then for the one of trap monsters though we play 1 Zoma, the Spirit. This card also closes out games that go on a little bit long. If it's destroyed by battle, you inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of the monster that destroyed it. And then Shapeshifter, which can be special summoned, and it's just a level 2 tuner. It has no real other effects. We played Dust Tornado in the main deck. You'd probably want to side Space Typhoons, but this card is probably better. My kind of line of play is like if you have card D and you have Dust Tornado and you draw into like 2 trap monsters, like you can Dust Tornado one of their cards and set it so you can special summon during your turn, which is not something you normally want to do, but like if you don't really have like dualities or another card D, I feel like that's like not terrible. 3 Phoenix Chain goes with your Magic Planner, stops effect monsters, stops attacks, pretty decent. And then 2 Imperial Customs and 1 Compulse. Extra deck relevant things. Vulcan the Divine, you can bounce back things and reset them and activate Spider Statue again. It's pretty good sometimes, I guess. I've never made it yet, but it sounds good. And then we play Goyo and Sahemoth, and then we play Doloran, which is important because you can make your Swamp Mirror water, and then Shapeshifter, go into Doloran, and then that's amazing. Shit! I have successfully done that once, which should not deter you from trying Doloran in your deck, but I guess the extra deck is largely like just fun stuff, so that's that. For 4s, you can play whatever 4s you really want. Some of the eccentric ones I'm playing are Master Key Beetle, which you can use because you have a couple of dark guys, and Swamp Mirror can become whatever the fuck you want it to become because it's cool like that. Not really. It doesn't. It just does what you want it to. It doesn't really have its own identity. It's sad, really. You can protect floodgates that you can main deck if you really want to, or side deck in, which are good. And then you can protect your spider statue, which is very important. And the other fun one, another fun one I play is Tsukiyomi. Soul is light, and then you can make Swamp Mirror light, drawing more cards because you really need it. Not really. This card kind of sucks. I don't know why I play it. But I do know I play Zen Maester because you can reset your trap monsters. You won't flip them back up because they're no longer monsters, but they are reset, so that's cool. So you have an XYZ monster that does that. And then you play Big Eye that can steal monsters in games and hearts. And then you play Dreadnought because you're hilarious. I've brought this out more so than I brought out all the other crazy cards that I put in my extra deck. Almost 30 minutes have been spent trying to discuss this deck. I have no idea how I'm going to cut it down, but we'll try somehow. So, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Smashing Pumpkin signing out. I hope you enjoy this Fun Deck Friday and try it out for yourself. It's a little bit rare for me to be talking about like OCG cards, but these really struck my fancy. So, here we are. Bye.